and then enter who you want to enter.
I close my door if you don't mind. Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Judge.
Okay. Great. And I'm going to go ahead and call the probate docket for Monday, March the 15th. First one is in the matter of the estate of Juan Cantu. Is Mr. Burke or
Yes, Your
Merrill?
Honor.
Great. We
Can you
have
hear me?
Mr. Merrill, and is your client here with you?
Yes, Your Honor. She's on the Zoom call. She is muted though.
Would you ask her to unmute or that is Miss Cantu, right?
That's correct.
Miss Cantu, are you? I don't see her on here.
It says Burke Merrill on hers as well. She's coming from my iPad in the conference room.
Okay.
I'm gonna get her to unmute. Just a second.
I'll hold. No problem. He's coming. You know, it's hard enough to do this in person. Then when you got to do technology, it really does. Miss Merrill, are you here? Miss Cantu, can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine, Your Honor.
Okay, perfect. Would you mind raising your right hand? Do you swear that the testimony you're going to give in this case is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay. Mr. Merrill's going to have some questions for you.
Ms. Cantu, will you state your full name for the record, please?
Marjorie Elizabeth Cantu.
And you're here in the estate of your husband, Juan Cantu Jr., is that correct?
That is correct.
And it's cause number 9472?
Yes,
And did your husband pass away on September 27th, 2020?
that is correct.
And he passed away in San Antonio, Bexar County, Texas, is that correct?
Yes,
But he was domiciled in Medina County at the time of his passing?
yes,
And obviously 4 years have not elapsed since his date of passing.
correct.
And you have offered to probate a document dated June 1st, 1992. Is that correct?
Correct.
And that you believe to be the last will and testament of your husband, Juan Cantu Jr.
Yes,
And your husband never revoked that document. Is that correct?
correct.
Your husband and you together did have 2 children after that date, June 1st, 1992. Is that correct?
Correct.
And those children are age 26 and 17 respectively?
Yes,
Your husband never had a marriage that was dissolved, whether by divorce, annulment, or declaration that the marriage was void on or after June 1st, 1992. Is that correct?
correct.
And I've explained to you earlier today what an administration of an estate is.
Correct.
And it's your testimony that there is no necessity that exists for an administration of this estate. Is that correct?
Correct.
And your husband left no debts that remain outstanding against his estate today. Is that correct?
Correct.
And finally, your husband never received Medicaid benefits on or after March 1st, 2005. Is that correct?
Correct.
Your Honor, I have no further no further questions of this witness.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Merrill. Ms. Cantu, after hearing the testimony, I'm going to go ahead and sign an order admitting the will as a muniment of title. And Mr. Merrill will take you through the rest of this process, which will not involve this court at all. And he will handle it from there. So sorry for your loss, ma'am. And thank you very much for being here today. Mr. Merrill, you and Ms. Cantu are both excused if you would like.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a nice week.
You too. Thank you. Next, I'm going to call matter 9473 in the matter of the estate of Virgil Crenmiller. Mr. Rhodey, I saw you and Ms. Crenmiller there together.
We're on, Your Honor.
So, okay. Ms. Crenmiller, would you mind raising your right hand? Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give in this case is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay. Mr. Rody's going to have some questions for you.
Okay, Joyce, will you state your full name for the record, please?
Joyce Elizabeth Cranmiller.
And Joyce, is it true that your husband, Virgil J. Cranmiller, died on January 10th, 2021 in San Antonio, Bexar County, Texas? At the time of his death, he was 85 years of age.
Yes,
Is it true that the decedent's domicile at the time of his death was 340 County Road 548, Hondo, Medina County, Texas, and 4 years have not elapsed since the date of his death?
yes,
It is true that this court has jurisdiction and venue because the decedent was domiciled in Texas and had a fixed place of residence in this county on the date of his death.
yes,
It is true that at the time of the decedent's death, the decedent owned real property in the state of Texas and personal property generally described as real estate, cash, personal effects, and household goods with a probable value in excess of $200,000.
yes,
It is true that the decedent did not apply for or receive Medicaid benefits after March 1st, 2005.
yes,
It is true that the decedent left a valid will dated November 13th, 2018, which was never revoked.
yes,
It is true that the will was self-proved in the manner prescribed by law.
yes,
It is true that the describing witnesses were Laura Bogert of 850 County Road 242, Hondo, Texas, and Michelle Camacho of 302 Ingham Road, Divine, Texas.
yes,
It is true that the will named you, Joyce E. Cranmiller, as independent executrix, and your address is 340 County Road 548, Hondo, Texas.
yes,
It is true that no children were born to or adopted by the decedent after the date of the will.
yes,
It is true that no marriage of the decedent was ever dissolved after the will was made.
yes,
It is true that neither the state, a governmental agency of the state, nor a charitable organization is named by the will as a devisee.
yes,
Is it true that you've investigated the affairs of decedent and to the best of your knowledge and belief, there are no unpaid debts owing by the estate of decedent, exclusive of any debt secured by real estate, and that there is no necessity for an administration of this estate?
yes,
Your Honor, then we would ask the court to enter an order admitting the will to probate as a muniment of title only. And we will provide the signed documents of the proof of death and affidavit of no debts.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Rody and Ms. Cranmiller. I will sign an order admitting the will to probate as a muniment of title. And as I stated before with the prior case, it's all you'll need to do with this court. Mr. Rody will take you through the rest of this process in completing the will of your husband. So sorry for your loss, ma'am. It is also my understanding that you are a longtime employee of the Medina County. Is that correct?
I didn't hear the question.
You worked for Medina County for a long time.
Oh, yes, I did. 14 and a half years.
14 and a half years. That was before I came on. So thank you very much for your service here, ma'am.
Thank you. I enjoyed it.
And thank you very much, Mr. Rody. And I'm going to go ahead and you guys are excused. And thank you.
Bye.
You bet. Mr. Shearhart, I'm going to do both yours together, but since they've fallen out of line, I'm going to go ahead and call the next one and then do your two last, okay? You hear me, Mr. Shearhart? I can't understand. You're not, you got to unmute.
I'm sorry, Judge. Can you repeat that, please?
I said, I'm going to, yours fall in two separate orders and Mr. Walsh is in between you. So I'm going to go ahead and call Mr. Walsh and we'll do both of yours together, okay?
No problem.
So
Thank
I'm
you.
going to go ahead and call cause 9476 in the matter of the estate of Bernice McDonald. Mr. Walsh, I see you're
Bobby Walsh
here.
appearing for the applicant, Deborah Gail McDonald.
Okay, and Deborah Gail McDonald is there with you? Perfect.
Yes, she is.
Ms. McDonald, would you please raise your right hand? You swear that the testimony you're about to give in this case is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Walsh is going to have some questions for you, ma'am.
Please state your name for the record.
Deborah Gail McDonald.
And how are you related to the decedent, Bernice Cleo McDonald?
I'm his daughter.
And Bernice Cleo McDonald, aka also known as BC McDonald, died on January 20th, 2021.
Yes.
He died at the age of 94 years in Natalia, Medina County, Texas.
Yes.
4 years have not elapsed since the date of his death. The court has jurisdiction and venue over the estate in that your father was domiciled in and had a fixed place of residence in Medina County on the date of his death.
Yes.
He died with a will, and his will was signed on December 4th, 2014.
Yes.
The original of that will has been filed with the clerk.
Yes.
And a necessity exists for the administration of the estate.
Yes.
Basically, we have a real property that has to be distributed.
Yes.
The will was self-proved, and to your knowledge, your dad never revoked this will.
Correct.
Now, you know that no state governmental agency or charitable organization is named by the will as a debasee. No child was born to or adopted by your dad after the date of the will.
Correct.
Your dad was married to Doris Grace Allen on June 20th, 1953.
Yes.
And that's your mom.
Correct.
And his marriage ended with her passing on August 14th of 2014. He was not married at the time of his death.
Correct.
And he did not marry subsequent to your passing of your mom.
Correct.
The will named you as the independent executor to act independently without bond or other security.
Yes.
You are not incapacitated.
No.
You've not been convicted of a felony under the laws of the United States of America or any state of the United States. You do not owe money to the estate. You have no claims against the estate. You have never been committed any crimes of moral turpitude. And you are well suited to act as executor of the will.
Yes.
Judge, I have nothing. And you're asking the court to the will
Okay.
of probate. And no Medicaid. Your dad did not receive any Medicaid after March 1st of 2005.
Correct.
Nothing
Okay.
further, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Walsh. I apologize. That was my phone that went off during court. I did not have it turned off. So anyway, Ms. McDonald, after hearing the testimony, I'm going to go ahead and enter an order admitting the will to probate and issuing letters of testimony on your behalf. Mr. Walsh will take you through the rest of this process to fulfill the terms of your father's will. That's all you'll need to do in this court. And so sorry for your loss, ma'am, and thank you for coming today. And Mr. Walsh, you and Ms. McDonald are excused.
Thank you, Judge.
You bet.
Have a great
Thank
week.
you. You too. Thanks. Next, I'm going to call, and Mr. Chiart, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm just going to call them both. You got the same executor on both of them, right?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay. I'm going to call on the matter of the estate of Robert Frick and in the matter of the estate of Pamela Frick, cause number 9475 and 9477. And is Mr. Frick here, John?
Yes, Your
Okay,
Honor.
Mr. Frick, would you please raise your right hand? Do you swear that the testimony you're going to give in this case is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay. Mr. Sherard's going to have some questions to ask you.
Thank you, Your Honor. I do have some questions I can ask the witness. Please allow me to introduce my witness. This is Lieutenant Colonel John Frick. He's originally from Devine in Medina
Okay.
County, where both of his parents lived and passed, and he's now stationed up in Virginia. So he's an out-of-state resident, but we do have appointment of resident agents on file for both of the estates.
Okay.
Just so the court knows. And Colonel Frick, can you please state your full legal name for the court?
John Aaron Frick.
Okay, you cut out on me there for just a
I'm
minute.
sorry.
Can you please
Yeah,
restate
John-
your full legal name?
Sure. John Aaron Frick.
Okay, and Colonel Frick, can you, is it your testimony that your father, Robert Lee Frick, passed away on April the 2nd of 2019?
That's correct.
And is it also your testimony that your mother, Pamela Annette Frick, passed away on January the 21st of this year?
That's correct.
Okay, is it your testimony that each of them were residents of Medina County, Texas at the time of their passing?
Correct.
Your father was age 78 when he passed and your mother age 77, is that correct?
That's correct.
And is it your testimony that their last wills and testaments, which were dated December 2nd of 2011, and which we have placed on file with the court, neither of them ever revoked these wills as far as you know. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And of course, each of them left assets in their name. And so there is a necessity for you as the executor to administer to those assets. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Now, the date of the will was 2011, and of course, there were no children born to them or adopted by them, no divorces in their lives after the date of the will. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And in each of the wills, well, they appointed each other as the number one executor, but you were named as the alternate executor in each of the wills. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, and you have not been convicted of any crimes of a felony degree, nor any crimes of moral turpitude, and you are willing to assume the office of independent executor in both of these estates. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Your Honor, I have no further questions.
Okay. Colonel Frick, thank you very much. And thank you, Mr. Shearhart. After hearing the testimony, I'm going to sign the orders entering the wills of Robert and Pamela Frick into the court's files and issue letters of testimony on your behalf. You will not need to do anything more in this court. Mr. Shearhart will guide you through the rest of this process. Thank you very much for your service to our country, Mr. Colonel Frick. I have one personal question. My great-grandfather's last name was Frick.
Really?
And yes, his name was Herman Frick. Came to Medina County through, I think, from Germany through Mexico, I think. But
Wow.
I'm just, yeah. Is your
Oh,
family
yeah.
originally from Medina County?
They originally actually there was a Sebastian Frick. He came from Germany. He came to Indiana first in the 1840s, and then his son Frederick Frick came down to Texas shortly after that. And then they made their way down to actually what is now Uvalde County. But yeah, I'm otherwise, Your Honor, fifth generation Texan.
Sure.
And, so I'm curious about Herman Frick. If you will indulge me, the Fricks are originally Swiss German from the 12th century, and then the 15th century they moved up into Germany because they during the Counter Reformation, the ones that moved to Germany were the Protestant Fricks.
Yeah,
so they were kicked out in the 1500s, and then generally came to America in the 1800s because of depression in Germany. So, but that's interesting that your family came via Mexico. They would have been related back in Germany, but it sounds like it's a different line, maybe.
Story was the same though. They were Protestants and they left because of bad times in Germany. So I just came at different places, I guess. But it's a unique name. There's not a whole lot of Fricks around. And
yes, sir. No, it's it's a valley in Switzerland that's called Frick. And there's a town that I've been to the town, but it's in northern Switzerland. The valley is actually called Fricktal, which means Frick Valley. And so it's pretty interesting. Obviously I'm biased, but it's considered a distinguished name. So
maybe I need to, that would be a trip after retirement, I guess.
Yes, sir. Well, there's also a Frick Museum of Art in New York City. That's really a really good museum. Yes, from Henry Clay Frick. He was an industrialist. And then if you go to Pittsburgh, like half the stuff in Pittsburgh is named after him.
Wow. Okay. Well, I need to get out of Medina County more often. So.
Medina County is a great place to live.
It is. Well, thank you very much, Colonel. And again, thank you for your service. And Mr. Shearhart, thank you very much. And we will get the order signed and you guys are excused. I see on here Buddy's iPhone. Who is Buddy?
That's my brother, Your Honor. He dialed in. He's also a colonel in the Army. He's a professor at the Army War College.
There he is.
Hey, buddy, how you doing?
Sir, how are you doing today, Your Honor?
Thank you. Thank you very much for your service also. And you know, we may all be distant relatives from somewhere in the past, but thank you.
Thank
You
you, sir.
guys have a good day and y'all are excused.
You too.
Your Honor.
Thank you, Judge.
Bye.